Have you ever felt guilty for turning down an invite just to stay home by yourself? Stop right there. You aren't weird. You're simply protecting your energy. If you find yourself drained after noisy gatherings and just want to retreat home, this video is for you. You aren't missing something. You're just wired differently. People call it being closed off. I call it being selective. And that is why staying at home is a superpower. Don't let this noisy world trick you into thinking that staying at home is a waste of your youth. You're living more deeply than those out there. Why do so many great thinkers, artists, and geniuses choose to stay in rather than be in the crowd? The secret lies in two words: true stillness. Home isn't just four walls. It's the place where you can be yourself without having to perform. Welcome home to your peace. Picture a Friday night. Out there, the city's neon lights are flickering, music from bars pulses onto the sidewalk, and your phone keeps buzzing with friends' vibrant check-in photos. People are out there enjoying, connecting, living. And you? You're sitting in your familiar corner, a warm cup of tea in hand, the soft golden glow of a desk lamp, and your favorite music playing quietly. In that moment, have you ever felt a flicker of guilt creeping in? Has a voice in your head ever whispered, "Am I wasting my youth? Am I weird for not being able to blend into that crowd?" That is when the world looks at you and tags you with the label, the escapist. But what is the reality? The mask has been removed. Every time you close your bedroom door, you aren't avoiding life. You are simply taking off the mask you've had to wear all day long. In society, you must smile when you don't want to, react quickly, and appear enthusiastic. When you come home, you don't need to perform. It's the moment when exhaustion gives way to recovery. An inner world busier than you think. Outsiders see your silence and assume you're empty. They don't know that inside your mind, deep dialogues are happening, ideas are sprouting, and emotions are being fully felt and named. You're not bored. You're busy with yourself. Redefining life. You once tried chasing gatherings, forcing yourself to talk and laugh at noisy parties just to feel normal. But then you realized, why borrow joy from the noise of others when you can create your own happiness from the stillness within? The significance of this section: we don't need empty, cliched advice. We need understanding. This introduction strikes at the pain of being judged, only to immediately turn it into a source of pride. Staying home isn't because you're weak, but because you are strong enough to cherish depth over superficial glamour. But here is the truth that the fast-paced world often misses. You aren't avoiding life. You are simply experiencing a different, deeper version of it. While others are searching for meaning in the noise, you are busy finding it in the stillness. To an outsider, you might look like someone who is doing nothing. You're sitting by the window, sipping a warm drink, or just staring at the wall. They see a blank space. But you see a universe. In psychology, this is called high internal self-presence. It is the rare, beautiful ability to feel more connected to the landscape of your own mind than to the chaotic world outside your front door. Let me paint a picture you'll recognize. While others chase dopamine hits from crowded parties or loud events, you find your fulfillment in the texture of a day. The specific temperature of your tea, the way the late afternoon light hits your bookshelf, the rhythm of a song you've heard 1,000 times. To you, these aren't just things, they are rituals that ground your soul. You know that feeling when you're alone and suddenly a thought, an idea, or a memory hits you. It's electric. While others are scrolling through feeds to escape their own thoughts, you are blooming. You are processing, reflecting, and creating. For you, the mind is not a hiding place. It is a studio where every emotion is painted, every lesson is achieved, and every dream is refined. You don't need the external volume to turn up to feel alive. Your heart doesn't beat faster because of a crowd. It beats steadier because of the peace you've curated. When you choose to stay home, you aren't shutting the world out. You are giving yourself permission to listen to the only voice that truly matters, your own. You've learned that life isn't just about doing. It's about feeling. And because you spend your time observing, processing, and understanding your own emotions, your capacity for empathy and creativity is deeper than most people will ever know. So, the next time someone asks, "Why are you just staying home?" you don't need to apologize. You are the architect of your own peace. You are not empty. You are full. Fan 3. For the longest time, I thought there was something fundamentally broken about me. I spent years wearing a mask, trying to be the person who could laugh the loudest, dance the longest, and never, ever say no to an invite. I remember those nights, standing in the middle of a crowded room, the music thumping against my chest, friends laughing around me. Everyone looked like they were having the time of their lives. And there I was, smiling on cue, but inside, I was fading. I felt invisible, not because no one saw me, but because I wasn't even there. I used to think that real life only happened out there, in the rush, the noise, and the constant motion. I was terrified that if I stayed in, I'd be forgotten. I was terrified of the silence. But then, the shift happened. It wasn't a sudden explosion, it was a whisper. One Friday, after a long week of performing for everyone else, I came home. I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't reach for my phone to scroll through someone else's highlight reel. I just sat. I listened to the hum of the refrigerator, the rain against the glass, the sound of my own breath. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel lonely. I felt seen. I realized that the loneliness I had feared so much was just the fear of being alone with myself. I had been running from the one person I needed to know the most. I stopped seeing my home as a waiting room for real life to start and realized, this is it. This is the main event. I finally understood the truth. Loneliness is hunger. It's what you feel when you are empty and desperate to be filled by others. But solitude? Solitude is a feast. It is what happens when you realize you are already full. You aren't missing out on life by staying home. You're just choosing not to waste it on things that don't make your heart beat in its own rhythm. Fan 4. The art of being deep, the Homebodies superpower. The world loves to call you the quiet one. They say you're missing out on life. But here is the secret they'll never understand. You aren't missing out. You are observing. And there is a massive difference between watching the world pass by and actually feeling it. To the hustle culture outside, an emotion is something to be avoided. A moment of sadness? Drown it in noise. A moment of boredom? Fill it with mindless scrolling. But not you. You are an artisan of your own internal reality. When something happens to you, a difficult conversation, a quiet heartbreak, or even a sudden burst of joy, you don't just brush it off. You take it home. You lay it out on the table of your mind, and you study it. You turn sadness into art. You turn a memory into a lesson. You turn a simple moment into a story. Think about it. Your emotional intelligence, because you've spent so much time understanding your own heart, you have a radar for others. You're the friend who notices the sigh someone tries to hide. You're the one who hears what isn't said in a conversation. While others are busy talking, you are busy listening, not just to words, but to the pauses in between. Your depth, people think you're overthinking. You know you're just deep thinking. You don't skim the surface of life, you dive. That's why your joy feels richer and your grief feels more profound. You don't experience life in black and white. You experience it in high definition. The world calls this sensitivity a weakness. I call it a superpower. You could sit with yourself, understand your own triggers, and heal your own wounds without needing a crowd to distract you. You aren't empty, and you aren't boring. You are a universe waiting to be explored. And frankly, that kind of depth is exactly what the world is starving for. Fan 5. You're missing out. That is the sentence that stings the most. It's the polite way the world tells you that if you aren't in the crowd, your life is somehow paused. But have you ever noticed that the loudest voices rarely change the world? When people ask, aren't you bored? Or why don't you socialize more? They are operating on a fundamental misunderstanding. They think that living only happens when there is noise, movement, and 100 eyes on you. They mistake hustle for growth. But look at history. Look at the people who truly shifted the axis of our world. The greatest novels, the most haunting melodies, the breakthroughs in science, the philosophies we still live by today. Were they born in the center of a mosh pit? Were they born while shouting over the music in a crowded bar? Almost never. They were born in the quiet. They were born in dimly lit rooms, at dusty desks, by people who had the courage to stay in when the world wanted them to go out. Those creators understood something that society keeps trying to make us forget. Silence is not the absence of life. It is the birthplace of ideas. When you sit in your room, you aren't missing out. You are observing. You are learning the language of patience. You are sharpening your ability to see the details that everyone else, in their rush, misses. You are refining ideas that are too heavy, too complex, or too beautiful to be born in the middle of a chaotic party. So, the next time someone tries to make you feel like you are incomplete because you prefer the sanctuary of your home, remember, you aren't falling behind. You are just operating on a different frequency. Silence has a voice, and it takes strength to listen to it. Don't apologize for your peace. You aren't hiding from the world. You are preparing to make your mark on it. Fan 6. They ask, if your home is your sanctuary, what exactly are you hiding from? But they've got it all wrong. You aren't hiding from anything. You are simply choosing what to let in. Let's be honest about why you choose the comfort of your walls. It's not fear. It's management. Think about your day. The relentless hum of traffic, the uninvited energy of 100 strangers, the social expectations that demand you be on. Always smiling, always reactive, always available. For many of you, that isn't just life, that's a sensory overload. Your nervous system is like a high-precision instrument. It's brilliant, but it needs to be calibrated. Home is your calibration chamber. It's where you turn the volume down to a level where you can finally hear yourself think. And it's about more than just peace. It's about emotional safety. People call you selective or closed off because you don't wear your heart on your sleeve for every passerby. But the truth is, you feel things in high definition. You feel the weight of a conversation, the shift in a room's energy, the unspoken tension between people. You don't have the luxury of being shallow, so you protect your energy. You treat your inner circle like a sacred space because you know that not everyone has the capacity to hold what you feel. And sometimes it's not even that heavy. Sometimes, you just love the texture of your own life. You love the familiar scent of your room, the specific way the light hits your desk, the comfort of a space that knows your history and doesn't ask you to perform anything for it. You aren't running away from the world. You are running toward the person you are when no one is watching. So, stop apologizing for your boundaries. In a world that is obsessed with being everywhere at once, having the courage to be exactly where you need to be, with yourself, is a form of rebellion. You aren't wasting your youth. You are investing it in the one person who will be with you until the very end, you. Welcome home. Fan 7. Society treats happiness like a loud, neon-lit event that you must chase. But you know the truth. Real joy isn't a firework that explodes and fades. It's a candle that burns slow, steady, and warm. You don't need a crowd to feel fulfilled. For you, the most profound moments in life happen in the in-between spaces. Think about your rituals. That specific hour you set aside to get lost in a book, where the words feel like a conversation with an old friend. The way you sit at your computer, building worlds in a game, focused and completely present. The stroke of a brush on canvas, or the simple, hypnotic rhythm of cooking a meal just for yourself. These aren't ways to kill time. They are ways to save it. While others are busy running from event to event, collecting experiences just to prove they've lived, you are collecting moments. You measure your happiness not by the noise of the applause, but by the quiet satisfaction of a Saturday morning, the smell of fresh coffee, and the peace of a room that knows your name. You understand that the biggest things in life are often the smallest ones. And because you move through life this way, not rushing, not shouting, but paying attention, you develop a rare kind of heart. They love deeply. They care quietly. They notice everything. You notice the shift in a friend's mood before they even speak. You notice the way the light changes in the afternoon. You notice the tiny, beautiful details that everyone else in their rush is stepping over. You are the witness to the beauty of the world, and that is a gift. So if anyone calls your life small because it's quiet, just smile. A small life lived with intention is 1,000 times larger than a loud life lived for the gallery. Keep your rituals. Protect your peace. You aren't missing the world. You're the one actually experiencing it. Fan 8. I've spent the last few minutes talking about them, about the quiet ones, the deep thinkers, the homebodies. But let's stop pretending. I'm not talking about them anymore. I'm talking about you. I know the doubt that's been living in the back of your mind. You've sat in that crowded room, looking at everyone else laughing, wondering, why can't I just be like that? Is there something wrong with me? You've seen the missed calls you didn't have the energy to return, the invitations you turned down, and you've felt that sting of guilt, the fear that you're being left behind. But listen to me closely. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You have spent so much time feeling like you are too much, or not enough for a world that screams for attention. But what if you've had it backward? What if the world is the one that's fractured and you are the one holding the glue? Think about how you move through life. You listen before you speak. You think before you act. You feel before you fake. In a world drowning in impulsive reactions and performative noise, that isn't a weakness. It's an integrity that is becoming dangerously rare. You aren't broken for needing to step back. You are calibrating. You are the anchor in the storm. You are the only person who is willing to look beneath the surface while everyone else is just skimming the waves. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission to be who you are. The world doesn't need more noise. It doesn't need more people who are just echoing what everyone else is saying. It needs you. It needs the depth you carry, the silence you protect, and the empathy you hide behind that closed-off door. You aren't mistaken. You are balanced. Fan 9. The world measures a big life by how much noise you make, how many parties you attend, and how many people know your name. But you've realized something much more powerful. A big life isn't about how much you squeeze in. It's about how much you actually feel. Let's stop calling it avoidance. Let's call it what it really is: curation. When you choose to stay home, you aren't shutting down. You are simply deciding that your time, your energy, and your attention are too precious to be spent on things that don't align with your soul. Think about your life as a gallery. If you let every stranger walk in and touch the art, if you let every bit of noise fill the halls, the meaning gets lost. You are the architect of your own space. You don't want the superficial small talk that floats on the surface of most conversations. You crave the soul talk that dives deep. You don't want 10,000 acquaintances. You want one friend who understands your silence as clearly as your words. You aren't missing out on experiences. You are refusing to consume experiences that leave you feeling empty. You are filtering out the statistics so you can tune into the frequency that matters. By choosing to stay in, you are saying yes to authenticity, yes to deep connections, and yes to yourself. So, stop worrying about the calendar that isn't full or the crowd you aren't part of. You are living with intention. And in a world that is obsessed with being everywhere at once, having the courage to be exactly where you need to be, with yourself, is not a limitation. It is the highest form of self-respect. Close your door, take a breath, and build your life exactly the way you want it to be. You aren't just staying home. You are living a life that is deeply, uniquely, and beautifully yours. And that is a masterpiece. Fan 10. The most crowded room is often the loneliest place on earth. But the quietest room? That is often where you finally find yourself. We have been conditioned to fear the word alone. We treat it like a disease, something to be cured by a notification, a text, or a night out. But there is a massive, life-altering difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a hunger. It's the ache of being disconnected from others, even when you're standing right next to them. You know that feeling. You've been to that party, haven't you? The music is pounding, the laughter is forced, and the air feels thick with fake smiles. You are surrounded by 100 people, yet you feel like a ghost, unseen, unheard, and desperate to escape. That is loneliness. It is a void that no amount of social noise can ever fill. But then, there is solitude. Solitude is not a void. It is a foundation. It is the brave decision to step back from the static. Not because you have nowhere else to go, but because you choose to be with the most important person in your life, you. When you choose solitude, you are not running away from connection. You are moving toward a deeper kind of connection, the one you have with your own soul. Think about it. In solitude, you aren't performing for anyone. You aren't editing your thoughts to fit the room. You aren't softening your edges to make others comfortable. You are simply beautiful, present. Many people spend their entire lives terrified of the silence because they are afraid of what they might hear. But you have walked through that door. You have realized that being alone doesn't mean you are deserted. It means you have finally arrived home. The world will try to label your solitude as sadness. Do not let them. Loneliness is being left out. Solitude is opting into your own peace, your own creativity, and your own life. Don't fear the quiet. Embrace it. Because only in that silence can you hear the truth of who you are, and only then can you truly love the person you have become. You aren't lonely. You are simply in good company. Fan 11. Stop thinking that needing to stay home makes you a shy introvert. That's a label the world uses to simplify you. But the truth? Staying home isn't a personality trait. It is a sophisticated act of self-preservation. If you feel the need to retreat, you aren't broken. You are simply exercising a level of self-awareness that most people are too distracted to ever reach. There are 4 very real, very logical reasons why you do this. 1. Energy preservation. Think of your social battery like a high-end device. Some people leave their apps running in the background until the phone dies. You don't. You know exactly what drains you: the empty small talk, the forced laughter, the noise. Staying home is simply how you recharge to 100% so you can show up for the people who matter. 2. Emotional sovereignty. You aren't closed off. You are discerning. You treat your inner world like a vault, not a public square. You understand that your trust and your vulnerability are currencies. You don't hand them out to every passerby. You need to know if a place is safe before you let your guard down. That isn't coldness. That is self-respect. 3. The creative laboratory. Your mind is a noisy, beautiful, expansive place. When you are out there, you are just receiving the world. But when you are in here, you are processing it. You transform the chaos of the day into ideas, into art, into meaning. You need that silence because your thoughts are loud enough on their own. 4. Environmental control. The world is chaotic. It is unpredictable. But your home? That is the one place where you get to be the architect. You control the lighting, the scent, the sound, and the pacing. In a world where you rarely have control over anything, creating a space that feels like a safe harbor is a radical act of peace. So, when someone asks why you're staying in again, don't apologize. Don't feel guilty. You aren't just chilling. You are managing your energy, protecting your peace, and fueling your mind. You aren't choosing less. You are choosing better. Fan 12. We talk about protecting our energy like it's a strategic choice. But let's be honest for a second. Sometimes, we build these walls because the world out there simply wasn't kind enough to us. It's easy to romanticize solitude, but we need to address the origin of our sanctuary. We didn't all arrive at this peaceful life by accident. For many of us, home became a necessity because we learned, the hard way, that the world isn't always a safe place for people who feel deeply. Think back to those moments that stung the most. The friend you trusted with your deepest vulnerability, only to have them treat it like a casual secret to be shared at a party. At the time you were told, you're too sensitive, or stop being so dramatic, just because you were honest about what hurt you. The realization that in a room full of people, you were physically surrounded, yet utterly alone because no one cared enough to listen to who you were. Those weren't just bad days. Those were cracks in your armor. We didn't hide away because we were weak. We hid away because we were tired of being shattered by people who didn't know how to handle the beautiful, raw parts of us. We chose to stay home because here, you don't have to apologize for your tears. You don't have to explain why you're quiet. You don't have to shrink your personality just to make others feel comfortable. Home isn't just a place to sleep. It is the only place in the world where you can take off the mask you've been wearing for everyone else, and finally, just be. So, if you're reading this and feeling a pang of recognition, if you're here because you're healing, know that there is no shame in that. Your home is not a prison you've built for yourself. It's a recovery room. Stay here as long as you need. Heal until you are ready. You are allowed to protect the person you are, especially from those who never deserve to see the best of you. Fan 13. The world assumes that if you aren't shouting about your dreams, you don't have any. They think ambition requires a megaphone, a stage, and an audience. But they've never seen the empire you're building while everyone else is out partying. There is a dangerous lie that says, if it's not public, it's not real. People look at your quiet life, your late nights, your solitary focus, and they mistake it for passivity. They think because you aren't chasing the noise, you aren't chasing success. But look at your hands. Look at what you've built in silence. While the world was busy posting about their hustle, you were busy honing your craft. You were writing that story, perfecting that code, building that business, or refining that philosophy that nobody knows about yet. Your ambition doesn't roar, it hums. It is steady, precise, and relentless. And here is the beautiful secret. You don't need the applause of 1,000 strangers to validate the weight of your work. You don't need 100 followers to tell you your vision has value. You've realized that the validation you seek isn't external. It isn't found in a like or a compliment. It is found in the moment you look at what you've created and think, yes, this is exactly what I intended. Sometimes, the most significant things are born in the smallest rooms. You aren't avoiding the big life. You are simply refusing to trade your depth for a temporary spotlight. So keep building. Keep dreaming. Keep working in the quiet hours when the rest of the world is asleep. One day, when you finally step out with your masterpiece, they will call it an overnight success. They won't see the years of solitude. They won't see the nights you stayed in. They won't see the battles you fought with yourself. That's fine. You don't need them to understand the process. You only need to know the truth of the outcome. You are the architect of your own greatness. And empires? They are built stone by stone, in silence. Fan 14. We have been told a dangerous lie, that if you aren't moving, you are falling behind. We treat exhaustion like a badge of honor and silence like a failure. But I have to ask, if you are constantly in motion, when do you have time to live? Look at the world around you. Everything is optimized for speed. Everything is designed to make you feel like you are wasting time if you aren't producing, clicking, posting, or performing. It's a culture that fetishizes the grind. But here is the truth that the busy world refuses to tell you. Nature never rushes, yet everything gets accomplished. The tree does not grow by frenetically reaching for the sky. It grows by pulling energy into its roots, in the dark, in the quiet, for seasons at a time. The master craftsman does not create a masterpiece by rushing every stroke. He creates it by knowing exactly when to step back, put the brush down, and observe the work from a distance. When you choose to stay home, when you choose to rest, when you choose to sit in the stillness, you are not pausing your life. You are tilling the soil. You are letting the lessons of the past settle into wisdom. You are allowing your nervous system to regulate so that when you do move, you move with intention, not impulse. You are refusing to be a machine that only outputs noise. You are choosing to be a human being that cultivates depth. The world calls this laziness. I call it maturity. It takes a profound level of self-respect to say, I will not burn myself out just to appease an audience that doesn't care about my well-being. So, let the world run its race. Let them mistake your stillness for passivity. Let them mistake your silence for emptiness. You know the truth. You are not falling behind. You are simply preparing. You aren't stopping your life. You are ensuring that when you finally do step out, you aren't just busy, you are present. You are clear. And most importantly, you are whole. Fan 15. The world measures the strength of your heart by the number of people in your life. But you've realized something far more profound. Love isn't measured in volume. It's measured in depth. People often look at your small circle and mistake it for distance. They think that because you aren't constantly socializing, you aren't capable of grand, sweeping emotions. They couldn't be more wrong. You don't collect people, you collect souls. And when you let someone into your world, they don't just get a version of you, they get the whole you. While others are busy filling the silence with small talk, you are doing something far more intense. You are witnessing. You notice the ghost of a sigh that someone tried to hide. You hear the desperation in, I'm fine, that someone left unsaid. You feel the weight of an unsent text that tells you more than 1,000 messages ever could. You aren't just observing. You are reading the subtext of human experience. In a world of surface-level connections, you offer something rare. You offer being seen. You don't love talking to people. You love listening to the parts of them that they are usually too afraid to show to anyone else. You provide a sanctuary where they don't have to perform. You give them the one thing everyone is starving for, but few know how to give: unconditional attention. So, if your life feels quiet, remember you aren't missing out on love. You are curating it. To be loved by you is to be fully understood, fully heard, and fully accepted in the stillness. That isn't a small thing. That is a miracle. Never apologize for having a small circle. It takes a massive heart to love this deeply, and only the right people deserve to be in it. Fan 16. If you take nothing else away from this, take this. You are not strange. You are simply sustainable. In a world that runs into exhaustion, you are the only one who has figured out how to live without burning out. We've spent a lot of time unmasking the myths. We've talked about the noise, the pressure, the stigma, and the courage it takes to just stay in. But now, look at the life you have built. You aren't fragile for needing a quiet space. You are the architect of your own emotional sanctuary. You aren't missing out on life. You are busy curating a life that fits your soul. You are not a failed social butterfly. You are a person who knows the high cost of energy and chooses to invest it only in the people, the art, and the thoughts that truly matter. This isn't about hiding. It's about building. You are building a version of existence where you don't have to perform to be worthy of love. You are building a space where you can finally exhale. So, I invite you to stop apologizing. Pour yourself that warm cup of coffee, let the steam rise, and just sit with the person you've become. Go back to your books, your art, your quiet dreams, and your internal worlds. Keep exploring the infinite galaxy of your own mind. Keep loving the few people you hold dear with that rare, quiet intensity. Keep protecting your peace, because it is the most valuable thing you own. You don't need to apologize for the boundaries you've set, because they are the walls of your home, and you have built them strong. People might say you make your world small by staying home, but they have it backward. You aren't shrinking the world. By living with this much intention, this much depth, and this much love, you are making the entire world feel like a home.